Well, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And we are here today on a new show called Cooking with Debbie.
It is not a new show.
Ow. It's not a new show? Okay, so
no, it was a request after Jim showed the bread on the last one that we give the recipe, so I thought I'd show how it's made.
Okay, so I'm going to record and Miss Debbie is going to show you her one of her awesome recipes.
Yep, and actually we got this recipe on the YouTube from Dr. Eric Berg. I do know that it has some carbs in it, but he is a big proponent of the keto diet. The reason we did that was because Jim's blood sugar was a little high, and the doctor told him he needed to get it down. So since we've been doing this, which has been a few months, 3 or 4 months, I guess maybe 3 months, but we haven't been doing it so strictly. I mean, most of the time we're very careful, but like through the holidays we ate some things that we shouldn't have eaten on the keto diet. But still, Jim has lost about 15 to 20 pounds. I've lost about 15 pounds. His blood sugar is down closer to within normal ranges because we didn't want to do any medicine or any prescriptions. We just wanted to control it with diet and exercise. So we've been able to do that so far, and we found this recipe which helps a lot because you can eat a lot of fat, and Jim loves butter. You can eat a lot of the good fat on the ketogenic diet, which has worked for us. I know it's not for everyone. Okay, here we go. So this takes 1 cup of almond flour or almond meal, and then a cup of arrowroot flour, 1/3 cup of coconut flour, which smells yummy, and then a teaspoon of salt. We always use Himalayan salt. It has more of the minerals in it that we need.
Can
Not
you
really vitamins,
repeat
but minerals.
the ingredients, please?
Yes, the ingredients so far. A cup of arrowroot flour, a cup of almond flour or almond meal, 1/3 cup of coconut flour, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Or Himalayan pink salt, which is what we use. Then after you mix those dry ingredients together, you're going to put 1 cup and 1/4 of warm water. Not hot water, but warm. So it won't kill your yeast, but it will stimulate it to grow. So here's 1 cup and 1/4 cup. And then you put in 1 package of yeast, or in this case, it'll be 2 1/4 teaspoons of the yeast that you get in the jar. Here in Colorado, things don't rise quite as well up here, but so far it's done pretty well. It actually does better down here where I live, 5,200 altitude, than it does at my daughter's where it's 8,500. Okay, so we mix those up and we put in 2 teaspoons, if I can open it, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. And that's to give the yeast something to feed on while it's growing. Now we're going to do what's called proofing the yeast, and what that really amounts to is just letting it set for about 5 to 10 minutes and watching and see if it grows and bubbles and stuff like it's supposed to. So you'll see that. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and fix the next ingredients, which are 2 tablespoons of psyllium, which you can buy as a fiber therapy. Buy the unflavored kind. Don't buy the orange flavored kind. So 2 tablespoons of that. And then we're going to have a tablespoon and a half of chia seed all ground up. So we're going to plug this in here. This is my little coffee grinder that I specifically use really for grinding spices and stuff. So we're going to put a tablespoon, a little more than a tablespoon in there. Grind it for just a little bit. And then we should have more than 1.5 tablespoons in there. This aside. We've got 1 tablespoon and about 1/2 tablespoon. Now we're going to look at our yeast. You can see it's starting to kind of break up in there and bubble, but we're going to let it set just a little bit longer to make sure that it's really good and started before we mix it with everything else. I think this is one of the big keys on making this bread work so well, the chia seed and the psyllium, because they're going to thicken this yeast mixture up so that it's not so wet. I'll show you that result in just a minute. Wait. Okay, so now we can see that this is kind of foamy. You can see the foam on top. I just always like to proof my yeast because I don't want to go to all the trouble of making the bread and then have it not work. So that's what we did. Now we're going to put the chia seed and the psyllium in there. And we're going to mix that up really well. Okay. We leave that to set for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, we've waited a few minutes and you can see this is pretty much congealed in here. This is just the yeast mixture with the chia seed and the psyllium in it. And then you just pour this in here. There it is. Thank you. And then mix it all up. And I do it with my hands. You gotta get your hands dirty. And you just knead it real good for a little while.
I need it.
You need it, but it's not ready yet. Smells yummy.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Then you're going to wait for an hour for it to rise. What we're going to do is we're going to, after I've got this all kneaded and mixed in really well, then we're going to cover this with a wet cloth with a dish towel that I've moistened, and we'll set it aside in a warm place and let it rise for an hour.
Okay.
And we'll come back and check on it. Then we'll cook it up.
And it's starting to look like, oh, it does look like dough.
Starting to look like bread dough, isn't it?
Yeah, it smells like it too.
Yeah, it does. It smells lovely.
Now, why is this better for you than grains like wheat and...
That's a good question. Ask somebody else that can explain it a little better than I can. But I know that gluten and wheat and some of those things cause a lot of problems for a lot of people in their digestion. And this has less carbs in it. which is good if you have any kind of a sugar issue in your life, or if you're trying to lose weight. Usually cutting down on your carbs is one of the things that helps. So what we're going to do right now is just get a tea towel, a clean one here.
Here, you may get it? You got it?
A little water on it. And that's just to keep it from crusting over, which would prevent it rising, because you want it to continue to rise. And we have kind of a dry environment here where we live, so it's good to keep it moist. So we're going to set that aside and wait for an hour, and then we'll check it then.
Well, we just had a great lunch. We had to wait for
Bread to rise.
an hour for the bread to rise. So we had a great lunch. Debbie is the best cook in the world, I tell you, she is. And so here we go. We're going to finish up our little video.
Okay. So now you can see that the bread has definitely doubled in size, which is about what you usually want for bread, and how great the dough looks. So I'm just going to shape it into a, what do they call those? Boules? Boule, I think they call it. Or something like that. Anyway, a sort of a little round loaf. When we were in Mongolia, this is the shape of loaf that they had available there. And they didn't have them in any kind of bags or anything. They just had them sitting there. Now, I just worked it a little bit and then set it in here. I have prepared a pan with parchment paper in the bottom of it. That's all I've really done. If you want to be a little fancier or make it look a little prettier, you can put an egg wash on it. You can cut some crisscross designs and stuff in it to make it look pretty, but I'm making these, you know, like several times a week. Seems like a couple of times a week usually I'm making them. So it's just easier, just put them in there like that. So we'll put them in the oven at 425. The oven's not quite preheated yet, but as soon as it gets to 425, we'll pop it in the oven for about 35 minutes, and then I'll show you the finished product.
It's just now reached 200.
Okay, time up. The buzzer just went off, so we're going to pull out the bread and see what it looks like. There you go.
Ooh, it smells good.
Better than it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so beautiful. I will tell you, with this bread, it's best to let it cool first before you cut it, because if you cut it right now, it's kind of gummy on the inside. But if you let it cool first and then cut it, then you can put the pieces in the toaster, toast them a little bit. That's how they're the very best. Eat them with lots of butter.
And you just usually cut those about 1/4-inch slices or something. And
yep, we'll show you some of that in a minute.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
All right. Smell good. Okay, I'm gonna cut a piece of this toast bread and make it into toast for him. Usually I cut about this thick. And you can see it's still a little bit, maybe you can tell it's still a little bit damp in there. What I'll do is put it back in here in the toaster for just a few minutes to let it get a little bit brown, dry out a little bit. And then I'll get him some Kerrygold butter, which is his favorite. It's Irish butter made from milk from grass-fed cows. And healthier, and Jim says it tastes yummy, yummy, yummy. He likes it better. So it's the best way to eat this bread.
Not yet.
There you go.
Okay, this is the life.
There's the happy boy.
Woohoo! I tell you what, I love this stuff. So, that good Kerrygold butter. Look at that.
It's been toasted.
Oh yeah, it's hot.
Uh-huh.
Oh yes. Mmm.
Happy boy. So this episode was brought to you by special request because
Awesome.
people wanted to know the recipe. So here it is. Hope you enjoy it. Love you much.
I don't need the recipe. I have the bakeress.
Yeah.
Okay, babe.
Okay, well, what we did the other day, because this part gets really dirty up here, as you can see.
This is the entry to our bus.
And so we bought this little rug, which was, I don't know, less than $10 at Lowe's. And then we happened to be at Dollar Tree, and they had these little mats, which we cut into pieces. And we're going to put them down with Velcro. So it gives us something that we can clean easier. It makes it look a little nicer and gives us something to wipe our feet on as we're coming into the bus.
Absolutely. So, and we're training Maisie
we're thinking it's going to be a good idea.
I think so too. We're training Maisie to stop right there at the top. We're going to keep a rug up there and a towel so we can wipe her feet off during wet season. Yep.
And it should help with warmth too.
That's right.
Yeah. We look for anything we can to help with warmth.
Yeah.
It's been plenty warm in here.
Since it's been 0 and 5 degrees at night, it has been a little cool. Hey baby, where you going?
Walking down here a little bit.
We're going for a walk. This is right behind our house actually, but the mountains are looking awfully beautiful today. Right there, that is Pikes Peak. The one right there in the middle. It was a slide. Maisie is getting her running in. Look at this. Woohoo!
Good girl. Good girl. Yeah.
We're going on a walk, but I think she's going on a run. Well, baby, this is a beautiful day.
Isn't it beautiful?
For it to be in the
40s
low 20s last night.
Oh, yes.
And be in the 40s today,
mid-40s.
Mid-40s.
Yeah. And was 0 the other day.
Well, night before last it was 0. The night before that it was like 5, and we've had some cool weather.
Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Come.
And this is our traveling buddy, and she is absolutely the best traveler you ever saw. She's no trouble. You never know she's around unless you talk to her. She just stays out of the way. She's a good girl.
That's it. We just want a picture.
Oh, we just want a picture.
You can just pick a thumbnail out of this.
So, there's Joy right behind us, and this is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed the bread making video. The cooking show may be on again sometime. Happy New Year to y'all. Bye-bye.